Hello tube dwellers and welcome. I'm the Arcadean and this is Mabinogi Duel. Today's video is going to be about creating a budget deck for PvG arenas. That's player versus ghost or AI as opposed to player versus player. The idea in player versus ghost is to build a deck that can deal with the enemy's decks, but also that your AI can run, because the deck will continue to fight even when you are offline. So let's dive right in. The first thing you're going to want to look at when you're building a deck is the shop, not for the booster packs. The booster packs are actually a very bad way of getting cards that you're specifically looking for. Whenever randomness is involved, just assume that it's never going to go your way. Instead, go into the player stores. The player stores are where you will find all of the cards that you're absolutely looking for. Spend some time in it. If you're having difficulty finding the cards you're looking for, or you want to price check on something, visit the subreddit or the shout box. Links in the doobly-doo below. Okay, building your actual deck. First of all, obviously, you go into your binder. This thing over there we go. Hey, and you're going to want to create a new deck from scratch. You don't want to accidentally overwrite any of your starter decks or anything like that. So up at the top, build a new deck, tap on that, and away we go. First things first, there's a number of camps or colors in the game, and as a beginner you're going to want to use 3 of them. You can play decks that only feature 1 or 2, but it's not advised because you don't generate as many resources each turn. It's very useful for rushing or very focused decks, but PvG Arena is generally a war of attrition, so you want to maximize your resource gain. Of the 5 available camps, mana is pretty much useless for PvG, don't touch that. Dark is great, but it lacks good finishers. So as a beginner, what you're going to want to focus on is gold, nature, and light. And there's a specific formula for this. We'll call it resource A, resource B, resource C. Resource A, you're going to want low cost removal card, 1 AoE removal card, 1 medium creature, 1 big creature. Resource B, 1 low cost removal card, 1 AoE removal card, 1 utility and 1 finisher. And resource C will be 1 low cost removal card, 1 big creature and 2 utility cards. Sounds a bit overwhelming, I know, don't worry, we're going to build one right now. Let's start with gold then, we'll filter that. So, there are a lot of options. I'm not going to go into each one. I'm just going to build what I feel is the cheapest and most stable, platinum-worthy budget PvG deck. But I'll try to explain why, so that if you don't have the card, you can conceivably come up with substitutions that will work just as well. So number 1, low-cost removal card. Gold lacks any removal spells that are worth their cost for PvG as a general rule. So we're not going to look at a spell. What we're going to look at... Whoops, I've actually gone right past it. Just too many cards, that's my problem. Here we go, okay. Goblin Bomb Squad. Staple since G1. Buy it, use it, love it. Add it to the deck. Basically, it's a removal because it deals a significant amount of damage to any creatures in front of it when it dies. It's very good for killing anything that has 10 or less HP at level 1, which is most creatures. Next is an AoE removal card. There's a few options here, but the current favorite is... Where are you hiding? There we go. Flame Emission. A little bit strategic in that it will deal damage to the card you target and then cards to the right hand side of that target, but currently it's the best AoE removal card for gold that isn't a mutant. Good. Next, 1 medium creature. This is basically defined as any creature that costs around 4 gold and can take a little bit of a beating. It doesn't need to survive all of the removal spells that are available in the game, but it needs to be able to take a couple shots before going down. Again, a lot of choices. Currently, my favorite is either Barbarian or Dragon Man Knight. And since we have Dragonman Knight right here, and you can get these in the pre-release boosters, we'll just add that. Although actually, no, since it's pre-release, you won't have access to it necessarily. So let's grab a barbarian instead. I don't feel like searching for it. I know, for some reason, I can never identify these things by sight. So we'll just... Barbatian? That was Barbatian. Okay, there we go. Good. Okay, barbarian. We'll add that one to the deck. Very, very useful card. And we'll turn off that... Oops, we'll turn off that filter. There we go. Alright, last but not least is a big creature. Now this is a creature that can take the two main removal spells at the moment, which are Surprise Attack and Hunt. Basically, it's any creature with a lot of hit points. This guy's going to be used for your tank, as well as for dealing damage directly to your enemy hero. A couple of choices, but my personal recommendation, both for price and effectiveness, is Mud Hero Druss. Excellent hit points, as you can see, and also a really, really good attack. Next, light. Remove gold, add light, and go back to the beginning. We're going to need to start with a low-cost removal. With light, for PvG, there really is only one low-cost removal, and that's Surprise Attack. PvP has a few more options, but as far as light goes, unless you're talking mutants again, Surprise Attack is the only real choice. AoE removal. Light arguably carries the best AoE removal in the game, which is Holy Spear. Excellent card. And a perfect oh shit button. If things are going just really, really badly, your enemy summoned a lot of heavy creatures, throw out a Holy Spear, clear the board, give yourself some breathing room. Holy Spear is one of those cards that I don't really recommend trying to substitute out, especially as a beginner. It will allow you to survive a lot of mistakes that you may make. Next, a utility card. This is one of my favorites. It finds its way into almost every PvG deck that I run. And it is the one, the only, Trap in the Castle. I love this card. Excellent for defense. Really, really good for forcing your opponent to waste resources. Just a great all-round card. And finally, a finisher creature. Now, a finisher creature is anything that can survive a decent amount of damage, but more importantly, that can output a lot of damage. There are some absolutely phenomenal light finishers, most of which are collaboration cards, unfortunately, which you won't have access to unless you're a millionaire. So we will start with Mage 39. This was the bad boy of PvG arenas before the collaboration cards ousted him from his throne. So let's bring him back, shall we? Okay. That is light and gold dealt with. Next. Oops, I don't want to change that. I want to change the filter. From light to nature. Nature cards, very useful for a whole variety of purposes. Mostly for defending. Nature floods the field and makes it difficult for your opponent to find any cracks. So, first we need a low-cost removal card. Where are we? Yes, here we go. Hunt. It's been the best since G1. It will continue to be the best long into the future, I'm sure. 14 damage at level 1. Escalating, obviously, as the level increases. There's nothing to turn your nose up at. Next, big creature. We want something that's going to survive Surprise Attack and Hunt. And when you're looking for a big creature for nature, the name on everyone's lips is Albi Stone Golem. You'll find this guy everywhere, and for good reason. So, if you can't beat them, Join them. Add it to your deck. Did I do that? Okay. Nope, I added 2. Never mind, we'll put one of them back. And we need 2 utility cards. Now, if you get lucky, then the best utility card that you can use in nature is Auron. She's just extremely useful. She helps to flood the field, can really just put the pressure onto your opponent. But you probably won't have her. She's a little bit rare and she's quite expensive. As far as utility goes, I quite like the Eagle. But really, you're just looking for anything that can apply board pressure. The Eagle does that very, very well, but so do a lot of other cards. And finally, the utility card from nature. And the reason why nature is in most people's PvG decks, Capture. Capture is one of those must-have cards. It's going to be probably the most expensive purchase you make, but it's absolutely worthwhile. Without Capture, you cannot hope to deal with Doom Machines, Scathach, cards like this that a lot of people enjoy running. Capture can completely shut down those decks, and it's worth whatever you pay for it. Really, it is. Okay, done. So we save that deck. Yep, thank you, TT. Which, yes, is how I pronounce her name. You filthy people. If you would like to just quickly add this deck into your game, I've created a code here for it. Copy this down, 5FD, F8AD, displayed in the top right. And then just tap on code in the top right when you have an empty deck. And then just copy that code number in. You'll be able to run this deck. Moving into the arenas, which is what everyone came to see. Alright, quickly. Duel practice mode up at the top. Very useful for practicing your duels. You would fight against the cat merchant if you wanted to make sure that there were no massive gaping flaws in your deck. Run a few times against him. If you want to know whether or not the AI is going to use your deck correctly in the arena, run the Mirror Spirit Duel. It'll give you an idea of whether or not the decks you've chosen are actually viable for AI play. As far as the arenas themselves go, there are a number of PvG arenas, but the one that has the best time to card ratio is the Rookie Arena. If you only focus on one arena, this should be the one that you focus on. The others, not really so great. Only do them for fun, or in the case of the limited arena, if you're very, very confident in your binders, decks, and ability. Avoid avoid Veteran Arena. It's terrible for time to card. Random draft, only do it if you really like the draft format. Rookie Arena. Now, when this opens up, thank you. You'll see there's 2 join slots. If you can, try to sign up 2 decks and run them both. They count separately. So if you get 1 into gold and 1 into silver, you'll gain rewards for gold and reward for silver. If you gain both of them into platinum, then both of them will gain platinum rewards. Also, as far as heroes go, the top 2, the ones that you start with, perfectly acceptable. You can easily get into top 10 with them. My personal favorite is Sarah for her healing, but other good choices would include Cat Merchant, TT, Fene, Sarah, of course, I just mentioned, Mari, and if you're looking for a bit more of a challenge, Kobold Captain Xenovish. Neutral heroes, absolutely fine. Let's sign our deck up. Boom. Now, I'm not going to run all 10, because then this video would last forever, but I may do a 10 win streak video next week. We'll see if there's any interest for that. So as far as the fightings go, what you need to bear in mind for PvG is the win streaks. What you're trying to do is get 10 consecutive victories. That means win 10 times in a row, no losses, no breaks. Do not click end here. That will end your streak and you will start again. The reasons for this are twofold. the more wins you get in a row, the more bonus points you get. And if you can finish a win streak, your ghost, the AI level, will be saved at whatever you ended on. So if you get all 10, your ghost will be level 10. If you're not confident, you can break up the win streaks. 2, 8, 3, 7, that means fight 2, end here, then fight 8, or fight 3, end here, then fight 7. Always do small number, then larger number, because it means that your ghost will be the larger number when you finish your 10 fights for the day. The first fight will always cost 25 gold, and then every fight after that will cost a certain amount of stamina, depending on the arena. Pioneer, using Cat Merchant Hero. Alright, let's see. Okay, so he's using a gold light dark deck. Mud Hero Dras is his highest cost card. He has no duplicates, and judging by his HP, he has 2 mutants. Mutants remove 1 hit point for every mutant card in your deck. Interesting. If I had to guess, I'd say that the mutant was probably... Actually, I'm not sure. So, first turn. Always either charge or discard. I personally discard, generally. I like to make sure that I have either my Goblin Bomb Squad and my Trap in the Castle ready to go, or Hunt and Trap, or Bomb Squad and Surprise Attack, something like that. So when you're discarding in the beginning, always discard the highest cost card. By the time you're ready to summon the highest cost cards, additional grave cost tends not to matter too much. Good, he charged. So we will just keep doing that. Always try to maintain a resource advantage. And in the early game, always wait for your opponent to make a move, then react to that. That way you can ensure that you are gaining the resource advantage by playing counters that cost less than whatever card they played. In this case, he's dropped a Bomb Squad, which is 2. I'm going to counter with a Trap in the Castle, which is technically 1 more resource. However, it floods my entire field. Now, the AI will often use a spell to remove the far left trap. So if the AI drops at a... well, you can see it's about to do that now. Boom. So if the AI drops a creature card on the far left, don't counter with Trap in the Castle. It's just going to use a removal card. But you can see what happened there was that for a 3 cost, he ended up spending 2 costs for the Bomb Squad, which just died, and then 2 costs for the Surprise Attack. So I've ended up countering his 4 resources for 3 of mine, putting me in a position which allows me to level up before him, thus gaining both a resource advantage and a level XP advantage. Now, that's fantastic. He hasn't actually leveled up, and he's placed Ash in front. Now, Ash is going to kill one of my traps. There's a 33% chance you'll kill the one in front of him. Worst case scenario, that happens, and always assume the worst case scenario is going to happen. Doesn't really matter. It's only going to do 4 damage to me. So I am just going to keep charging. Now, what I could do is I could drop the Eagle to take care of Ash, but actually I don't want to at the moment. We're getting good XP momentum here, and I'd quite like to keep that going so that... no, see, I told you, always assume worst case scenario is going to happen. Okay, now that that has happened, I'm going to have to play the Eagle to kill the Ash. I mean, it still gives us an XP advantage. I just would have preferred to keep the green for an Albi in the late game. Oh, that's fine. He's countering with a trap later on. Doesn't really matter. We've got Flame Emission, which will take care of the 3 on the far left. Do I want to do that? Yeah, probably. Okay. So I'll remove these 3. That'll give the Eagle a free shot. And I can level up. Good, we got 2 into nature, so that's putting us towards the Albi. We currently have enough resources to summon... Really? Trap in the Castle again? Okay. I was going to say we have enough resources to summon Dras and the 39-year-old hero with a... you know, with ease, but now I'm going to have to revive and... I mean, I'll just use another flame emission. It's not great resource usage, but our HP difference at this point is such that it really doesn't matter, because I can just place this now. I know that he has nothing that can do like fatal damage to my mage, so I can just play the mage and guarantee my victory. Playing a little bit blasé on the first fight, but the first couple of fights are always very, very easy. It's the later ones it gets harder, but that's still generally the idea. If that had been a higher level opponent that I was facing, I wouldn't have used the flame emission twice. I would have played Albi or Dras, and I would just have let them punch the trap, take the damage, carry on like that. Spin the roulette. Ooh, 1,000 golds. Yay! Oh, replace with 900 golds. Aha. It's a good day for the Arcadean. Wish. Okay, now, it says duel the next opponent for 5 stamina or end here. You're going to want to duel the next opponent. As soon as you click on end here, it finishes your win streak. And the bonus point you've earned up to that point will be applied to your overall score. Again, you're going to need to win all 10 fights in order to get into gold. It doesn't really matter what order you do them in. Theoretically, you could do 3, 3, 3, 1 if you absolutely wanted to. But I advise trying to get large win streaks if possible. So 3, 7 is the generally accepted number. But if possible, get all 10. I'm going to stop there. I think that's fine. If you've enjoyed the video, please leave a like below. It only takes a second and I really appreciate it. And until next week, have fun and good luck.